No effort is required on your part. Life is already taking care of them. And when karma comes, it doesn't announce its presence. It shatters the door wide open. Your silence lingered in the air. You chose not to resist. You departed with grace, not out of weakness, but because you had exhausted your energy on those who had already revealed their true selves. And yet, one can't help but ponder, why do those who inflict pain upon me continue to emerge victorious? What is it about life that makes it seem so unjust? Where can one find the justice? The response that the Stoics would offer is as follows. Justice inevitably arrives, though it may not manifest in the manner you anticipate. Karma transcends mere spectacle. It transcends mere public disgrace. It revolves around the notion of consequence, revealing oneself in the moments when the facade falters, when the cheers diminish, and when the burden of their own deeds ultimately overwhelms them from the inside. In this video, you will discover how to cease the pursuit of justice and begin to embody it fully, not through revenge, but by becoming more resilient, more astute, more composed, and utterly invulnerable. Let us commence. You have been wronged. Deception was their game. They have turned their backs. They orchestrated a manipulation. And then, they continued their journey. As though you were inconsequential, your suffering feels like mere collateral in their trivial pursuit. You remained rooted in place, bearing the burden of the destruction as they grinned, oblivious to the chaos around them. In that fleeting instant, a fragment of your being yearned for justice. Your desire was for them to experience the emotions that coursed through you. You longed for karma to sweep into their lives with the ferocity of a tempest, swift, thunderous, and impossible to ignore. However, what many individuals fail to recognize is this. Karma operates on its own timeline, independent of your plans. It requires no oversight from you. The teachings of the Stoics illuminate this truth with clarity. Your dominion lies within the realm of your thoughts, not in the occurrences beyond your control. Come to understand this. Within you lies a wellspring of strength waiting to be discovered. The karma of Marcus Hewlett is not your concern. Healing exists. To release is, for the more you gaze into the past, the more your future lingers just out of reach. The more time you spend anticipating their failure, the longer you postpone your own ascent. You believe that witnessing their pain is essential for your own sense of completeness. Yet, therein lies the snare. Here lies the truth. They are already compensating you. I simply cannot perceive it at this moment. When an individual harbors a tainted soul, their suffering extends far beyond their own experiences. It is what flourishes within them. Unbeknownst to them, trust slips away. They draw chaos to themselves, oblivious to the reasons behind it. They undermine their own efforts, for their very foundation is constructed upon falsehoods. The seeds they sowed were steeped in betrayal, deceit, influence. They do not simply disappear. They flourish, gradually, silently, and one day they unfurl into solitude, seclusion, and remorse. It is not your responsibility to carry that out. That is the essence of existence. Life has an uncanny way of remembering. Yet, this is the aspect that often goes unspoken. One cannot nurture healing while harboring hate simultaneously. Progress is impossible when you continue to invest your energy in someone who has caused you pain. Releasing what no longer serves us is not a sign of frailty. It embodies the essence of emotional intelligence. It embodies a profound psychological maturity. It embodies a profound commitment to the soul's journey. For when you choose not to allow your thoughts to transform into a battleground, you emerge victorious in the true conflict, the one within. There is no necessity for you to issue declarations. There's no need for you to justify your actions. There is no necessity for them to acknowledge their actions. It's time to release them from the confines of your thoughts. Depart in quietude, not resentment. Let that stand as the concluding remark. In time, they will come to sense it. For silence is not merely the lack of power. It embodies strength. Consider this. A Stoic refrains from seeking retribution against those who have wronged him. He effortlessly exists in harmony, allowing the natural laws to manage everything else. There is no need to reveal their true selves. Time shall unfold. There is no need for you to engage in battle with them. Their own decisions shall prevail. There's no obligation to extend forgiveness if you're not prepared to do so. Yet, it is essential to liberate yourself from the emotional confines they have constructed around you. Releasing your grip does not imply that you condone their actions. It signifies that you have chosen to prioritize your tranquility over their fate. Ultimately, they were never the true danger. The true danger lay in what they nearly transformed you into, a vessel of bitterness, petite, responsive, and filled with rage. Yet, you interrupted the flow. You opted for restraint instead of retribution, progress over resentment, significance above triviality. It is that very decision that renders you invincible. Release them. Allow karma to unfold its course. As life unfolds its consequences, you ascend. In the wake of pain, the mind often drifts toward the allure of retribution, to envision the instant they understood they had crossed paths with someone formidable, to desire their suffering, to surrender, to implore. Yet, the reality is this. Most individuals steer clear of revenge, as it fails to deliver true peace. It fosters reliance. For if your healing hinges upon their suffering, then true freedom eludes you still. You continue to revolve around them, continuing to respond to them, continuing to allow their actions to dictate your emotional landscape. That does not embody true strength. That constitutes a form of emotional bondage. The Stoics refrained from expending energy on schemes of vengeance. They held a conviction in a force far greater, the art of self-mastery. The most effective form of retribution is to rise above the behavior of your adversary. Marcus Hewlett lies. Read that again. For it transcends mere words. It embodies a transformation in perspective. When someone has wronged you, you find yourself at a pivotal crossroads. One can either assimilate into their ranks or rise above them. That decision shapes the course of your entire destiny. Revenge, you see, possesses a certain allure, as it creates the false impression of control. True power reveals itself not through emotional eruptions. It manifests through restraint. Self-restraint is not a sign of weakness. It is the commitment to act with intention rather than succumbing to fleeting desires. It embodies the essence of emotional intelligence. It is within the capacity of anyone to lose their temper. Anyone can raise their voice, reveal truths, bring shame. Yet, it requires immense fortitude to remain silent, to turn away, to construct a life so enriched, so complete that their presence fades into insignificance. It transcends mere discipline. That is a manifestation of psychological supremacy. That is precisely what instills the greatest fear in them. Your adversary does not tremble at the thought of your vengeance. They dread your transformation. They dread the thought of you transforming into all that they claimed. You found yourself in a position where no effort was required to stand against them. Allow them to remain small-minded. Allow the whispers to swirl around them. Allow them to attempt to tarnish your reputation in secret. In the meantime, you are honing the intricacies of your thoughts. You are crafting your enduring legacy. You are honing your mind, finding tranquility, and sharpening your focus, not for their sake. Yet, despite their presence, one might refer to it as a form of Stoic retribution, if such a term resonates. Not to obliterate them, but to transcend them. For there is nothing that shatters the pride of the manipulator quite like this. Your indifference has taken hold. Your silence is palpable. You no longer pursue resolution. You have stepped away from their theatrics. The silence, the stillness, the unbothered presence. These elements are what lead them to unravel. For in the moment you cease to respond, their grip begins to wane. When you cease to engage in their game, the entire structure crumbles. Therefore, refrain from expending your energy in pursuit of vengeance. Channel it back into your routines. Channel it back into your daily practice. Channel it back into your way of thinking. Harness the flames and direct them towards your concentration. Allow the treachery to ignite your drive. Allow the wound to guide you, rather than arm you. Discipline serves as the armor. Clarity is the blade that cuts through the fog. Tranquility is the arena of conflict. In that arena, victory is achieved through the art of restraint. Allow them to succumb to their own turmoil. Maintain your discipline. Please remain silent. You continue to ascend. Individuals believe they have evaded the consequences. In the public eye, they wear smiles. They share their thoughts as though the world around them remains unchanged. They stroll as if no trace of their past lingers in the shadows. Yet, what remains hidden from their understanding is this. The cosmos maintains a record of all transactions. Each falsehood they spun, each instance left you pondering your value. Each delicate maneuver, each betrayal, meticulously planned. Everything has been documented, not in written form, but in the impact it leaves behind. Life lacks sentimentality. It follows a methodical approach. It harmonizes energy, regardless of your presence. Yet, this is the aspect that often slips from memory, even yours. You ought to as well. It is essential to retain your receipts as well. Not out of spite, not for resentment. However, for the sake of clarity. You hold on to memories as a testament to the true nature of those who were there for you in your times of need. You maintain records to safeguard against the temptation of reshaping the past through the lens of nostalgia or frailty. For the simple reason that individuals tend to return, not due to their transformation, but rather your own evolution. Should you forget the havoc they wreaked upon your peace, your trust, your very sense of self-worth, you risk reopening the door from which they were once cast out, and this time, their return will bring even greater turmoil. This is not a matter of tallying points. It revolves around the preservation of psychological boundaries. You bear no resentment. You are setting your sights on a loftier benchmark. You are opting to refrain from returning to a version of yourself that accepted disrespect, silence, or manipulation under the guise of love, family, or loyalty. Emotional intelligence involves discerning those who merit your energy from those who merely siphon it away. To articulate that decision with clarity, one must reflect on the emotions stirred within when the world turned a blind eye. The Stoics would never advocate for a mindless act of forgetting and forgiving. Negative. They placed their faith in observation rather than in the sway of emotion. Clarity over chaos. Order prevails over disorder. When an individual reveals their true self, trust that revelation from the outset. Halsey Engehis embodies the essence of Stoicism. Observe, if not entitle. The cosmos perpetually observes our actions. It remains indifferent to excuses, intentions, or the facades we wear. It reacts to energy, amplifying it in return. If they took peace, theirs will ultimately fade away. If confusion was sown, it shall return to them once more. Should they choose to wield manipulation as their currency, life shall undoubtedly repay them in full, with interest accrued. However, that is not your position. You do not hold the role of the enforcer. You stand as the observer, the one who emerged from it, the individual who reconstructed quietly, the individual who required no spectators to undergo a metamorphosis. That is precisely why maintaining mental receipts transcends their significance. The focus is on you. In those moments of solitude, when the urge to reach out to them arises once more, let the memory of that fateful night, the night they vanished when you sought solace, serve as a poignant reminder. Their silence echoed, amplifying the doubts that lingered within you. Recall that tranquility only graced the land once they had departed. Do not idealize those who have caused you pain. Do not elevate toxicity to the status of a lesson learned. Not everyone in your life played the role of a teacher. They served as omens. You have evolved into a more formidable, composed, and astute version of yourself. Do not fall back. Maintaining a collection of receipts signifies a departure from making emotional choices rooted in a sense of void. You prioritize alignment instead of attachment, uphold standards rather than sympathy, and value self-worth more than second chances. For one thing is undeniable: life will not overlook their actions, and you must not do so either. They shall harvest the fruits of their own labor. And you shall emerge from the very earth they sought to entomb you in. Yet, this can only happen if you cease the charade that they were ever the beacon. No, you do not harbor any animosity towards them. You don't have an obsession with karma. You are merely recalling the reality. Thus, one does not return to a dwelling that has previously engulfed them in flames. Allow the cosmos to tally the outcomes. Continue to stride ahead, holding your head high, your heart pure, and your standards unwavering. One of the most challenging realities to embrace is this: closure may remain elusive from those who have caused you the deepest pain. There shall be no expression of regret. No explanation is provided. There shall be no admission of guilt. Only silence. In the stillness, your thoughts whirl and dance. You revisit the dialogues. You dissect the instant when everything unraveled. One can't help but ponder the missteps that led to this moment of uncertainty. What has slipped through your fingers? Their current thoughts linger in the air. A message lingers in the air, yet it remains elusive, never arriving. You glance at the door, yearning for their entrance, anticipating the honesty that might spill from their mouths. Yet, they do not. What is the reason behind this? For some individuals, the avoidance of closure is not merely a matter of chance. They deliberately steer clear of it. Providing you with closure would necessitate embracing responsibility, and that demands bravery, a quality they never possessed. What is it that you engage in? You cease the pursuit of resolution. A space begins to form between you. It is not merely a matter of physical separation. It encompasses mental, emotional, and spiritual divides as well. You establish a boundary not as a means of punishment, but as a safeguard for your own well-being. Healing does not rely on their words. One's journey forward does not hinge on the regrets of others. Your peace does not hinge on their clarity. That embodies emotional intelligence. That represents a level of psychological maturity. That embodies the essence of Stoicism. Do not wish for events to unfold according to your desires. Embrace events in all their forms as they unfold. This is the journey toward tranquility. Cryocantor. You see, pursuing closure frequently reveals itself as a veiled effort to maintain connection, to maintain the bond, despite its toxic nature, to afford them another opportunity to clarify, provide a rationale, reclaim. But what is the reason behind it? For a fragment of your being clings to the hope that they might transform into the person they never truly became. A fragment of your being clings to the notion that perhaps, with the utterance of the perfect phrase, the anguish would dissolve into nothingness. Yet it shall not, for closure does not arise from them. It originates from within you. One finds resolution when you come to understand that your worth lies in tranquility rather than in the pursuit of explanations. The responses will not alter their actions. The betrayal will remain unforgotten. The version of you that once thrived before the pain will not be restored. Moreover, they are no longer necessary for you. The part of you that sought closure remained tethered, reliant, and filled with hope. Yet this iteration, the one imbued with wisdom, the one who has discerned the patterns, the one who remains resolute, this version does not linger for a tidy conclusion. This iteration concludes the narrative, flipping the page regardless of consent. Distance serves as your sanctuary for healing. It is the realm of clarity. It's a space where you can exhale freely, unburdened by the fragility of emotions. It is the moment you cease to react and begin to observe. There is no response to their posts. One does not merely send messages to check in. One does not sift through their existence in search of indications of remorse. You craft your existence, establishing one healthy boundary at a time. Each decision firmly rooted in the present moment. With each quiet triumph, we move forward. And gradually, the allure diminishes. The inquiries diminish in their potency. The pain evolves into a profound understanding. That is not resentment. That is evolution. At last, you grasp the reality that not everyone possesses the ability to offer you what you truly deserve. And that is perfectly fine. You have moved beyond the task of extracting explanations from those devoid of emotional wealth. Closure transcends the need for a final conversation. It revolves around putting an end to the incessant dialogue that spirals endlessly within your mind. The narrative can be reshaped devoid of their perspective. It is possible to reshape the conclusion without their involvement. Your peace is yours to reclaim, independent of their approval. That is the essence of inner strength. That embodies a profound sense of spiritual discipline. That is a profound sense of clarity. Thus, a complete circle is not a necessity. A fresh start is all you require. Please ensure that the door is closed. Secure it tightly. Then, turn and leave. Not in fury, yet in serene, assured stillness. For the reality is, had they possessed the ability to grant you tranquility, they would never have transformed into the very source of its loss. Release them. Release the inquiries. Release the illusion of resolution. And in its stead, construct a distance that mends, rather than a silence that merely yearns. In due course, you will discover that what you truly sought in them had long been awaiting you in the embrace of solitude, the light of clarity, the grace of dignity, the expanse of freedom, and above all, the resilience to transcend the need for closure once more. Let us speak candidly. The pain stemmed not only from their actions. They became the very essence of who they were meant to be in that moment. The companion who vowed to stand by you through thick and thin. The companion who vowed they would always stay. The relative who vowed to offer unwavering affection. They shattered those promises, not through a grand act of treachery, but rather through subtle, consistent decisions. They gradually eroded your trust. They overwhelmed you with emotion. Excessively delicate. It seems excessive to seek merely the fundamental courtesy one deserves. Your kindness was skillfully manipulated. Your loyalty has been transformed into a tether. And when they ultimately departed or grew distant, they behaved as if you were the source of the issue. Nights were spent in contemplation, pondering the missteps that led to this moment. You crafted new narratives, revisited dialogues, pushed yourself further, and expressed regret for matters that were not even yours to bear. For beneath the surface, your fear extended beyond the mere thought of their absence. You harbored a fear that perhaps their judgments held a kernel of truth about you. Allow me to share a thought with you. They were not. They didn't turn away because you were overwhelming. They turned their backs, unable to govern the emergence of the new you that was coming to life. They sought not the entirety of your being. They sought a rendition of you that conformed to their ease. The iteration that remained silent, that consistently yielded. Their disrespect remained unchallenged. Yet, it was only when you began to pose more challenging inquiries, when you ceased to diminish yourself to elevate their stature, and when you established firm boundaries rather than pleading for approval, that the transformation truly took place. They referred to it as your transformation. Yet, it was not transformation. It was a moment of pure clarity. Clarity poses a challenge to those who thrive in the shadows of your uncertainty. Despite their efforts, they could not shatter your spirit. What they truly accomplished was granting you liberation. For the reality is, had they not deceived, you would not have acquired the gift of discernment. Had they not betrayed you, your boundaries would not have been fortified. Had they not departed, you might never have come to understand the weight of what you bore that was never truly yours. Your allegiance lay with chaos. You stood up for disrespect. You justified manipulation, believing it to be an expression of love. Yet here you stand, finally perceiving it for what it truly was. A trial, a pivotal moment, an excruciating journey toward embracing your true strength. Stoicism encourages us to perceive misfortune not as a tragedy, but rather as a source of motivation. In the same way that nature navigates every challenge and barrier, a rational individual transforms each setback into a resource, utilizing it to reach their aspirations. Marcus Hewlett deceives. What they did to you is pure substance. They believed they were entombing you, yet in truth, they were sowing the seeds of your rebirth. You thrived beyond mere survival. You stirred from your slumber. Awakening invariably starts with a sense of unease. Let us turn the narrative on its head. You have not lost them. Your patience for enduring mistreatment has vanished. You were not left behind. You have been guided back to your true path. You did not turn cold. You developed a keen sense of judgment. You ceased to articulate your value. You ceased to engage with those who confuse access with entitlement. You ceased to pour your essence into those who offered nothing in return when you were drained. And that is liberation. Not the boisterous, theatrical sort, yet the quiet sort, a kind that allows for restful slumber, free from the burdens of overthinking. A joy that blossoms within, requiring no external affirmation. The kind that allows you to depart, not in a fit of rage, but in a gesture of self-respect. They attempted to shatter your spirit, yet in the end, it was their facade that crumbled. And when that mask slipped away, it unveiled all that you had chosen to ignore until now. You were never meant to linger in that place. The ache lingers. Before me stood a door. The sting of that betrayal, a revelation. And now that you've embraced your freedom, you possess a thrilling edge that captivates in the most delightful manner. Not out of a desire for vengeance, but rather to ensure you never diminish again. Do not plead evermore. Cease the need to articulate your worth once more. There existed a version of you that would sacrifice everything for mere scraps. The previous iteration has vanished. They will remain unaware of the transformed version of you, for the new you has chosen to leave the past behind. Their true karma reveals itself in this way. It's not that you harbor any animosity towards them. Rather, you've simply moved beyond them. And you have ventured so far ahead that they will never be able to close the gap. Express your gratitude not with words, but through the essence of your being, not due to any merit of theirs, but rather because their treachery catalyzed your transformation. You transcended them. From the flames they ignited, you emerged anew. And that fire, it shaped a soul that will never be shattered in quite the same manner again. A response is what they seek. They desire to evoke your emotions. They yearn to witness your fury. In a state of utter despair, whirling in a dizzying descent. For as long as your responses linger, their significance remains intact. In those moments of silence, when the words cease to flow, when the need for explanation fades, when the urge to defend dissolves, and you simply turn and depart, you transform into something formidable. For silence does not equate to weakness. It is not an act of surrender. It represents a subtle yet profound mastery of psychological influence that eludes the grasp of most individuals. The most boisterous individual present does not necessarily possess the greatest strength. It is the individual who maintains their composure amidst the tempest, for their tranquility is not swayed by the clamor surrounding them. That does not reflect passivity. That is sheer power. The Stoics grasped this concept profoundly. We possess 2 ears and a single mouth, allowing us to absorb twice the amount of words as we utter. Cry candor. Yet, silence transcends mere absence of words. It revolves around the understanding of when to conserve your energy and the reasons behind it. Not all deserve a reply. Not every affront warrants a rebuttal. Not every act of betrayal warrants a resolution. There exists a distinction between silence born of fear and silence cultivated through mastery. Survival is paramount. Another aspect is strength. What truly unsettles those who once held sway over you is a matter of intrigue. This is not your retribution. Your silence speaks volumes. It's how you cease to engage with their turmoil. It's the way you allow their insults to fade into silence. It's the perspective you hold, not one of animosity, but rather one of complete indifference. For in the moment you release the desire to conquer the debate, when the yearning for comprehension fades, and you choose to witness and let go, there lies your quiet victory. They remain unaware of the thoughts that occupy your mind. Their uncertainty looms, a palpable tension in the air, as they remain oblivious to your next move. Unbeknownst to them, they remain unaware of the pain they may have caused, for you have offered no signs to reveal your suffering. The enigma gnaws at their very core. Individuals anticipate the same level of theatrics they themselves produce. They anticipate disorder for the sake of disorder, flame for flame. Yet, in moments of silence, you disrupt their coding. They begin to explore their inner selves, and that is precisely where the true consequence unfolds. Now, they must confront the image that stares back at them, free from any distractions, no one to hold accountable, no response to influence. The quiet vengeance that endures, allowing individuals to confront the outcomes of their true selves, not with fury, not with resentment. Yet, within that silence lay a chill deeper than any scream could hope to convey. Silence does not imply that nothing is unfolding. It signifies that all events are unfolding within. It signifies that you are in a state of reflection, mending, witnessing, and honing your perception, rising above the limits they once believed you could reach. Your quietude transforms into your declaration. Your absence defines your limits. Your separation emerges as your ultimate resolution. What imbues that with such strength is this? Silence holds a power that words often cannot contest. What remains unspoken cannot be distorted. They are unable to govern a version of you that has slipped beyond their reach. You have transcended the arena of conflict. Now, you stand upon elevated terrain. The most commanding presence in the room is not the one that raises its voice. It possesses the knowledge and opts for silence. That is the essence of emotional intelligence. That embodies a profound commitment to the spirit. That embodies a stoic approach. Thus, when they attempt to provoke you again, to provoke a response from you, to pull you once more into the tumult, remain silent, inhale deeply, stand with confidence, step away. Your quiet speaks volumes about the truths they are unprepared to face. As silence lingers, the repercussions of their choices grow ever more resounding. Not for your sake, but for theirs. They anticipated your continued state of disrepair, to fall into silence, to fade away into resentment. Their scheme was set in motion, even if the words remained unspoken. Those who seek to harm you are not merely aiming to inflict pain in the present moment. They are wagering against the possibilities that lie ahead for you. They seek more than your mere suffering. They wish to witness your stagnation, to witness you traverse the same patterns once more, to witness your unraveling as you grapple with the chaos of their actions. Yet, there lies a twist that eluded their anticipation. You have been restored, not with a clamor, not for public consumption, not out of spite, yet for your own sake. Their betrayal became the very fire that ignited your resolve. You transformed bewilderment into understanding. You transformed quietude into a calculated approach. And now, you are ascending. That That is the true essence of karma. Their suffering is not ours to bear. It is not a loss for them. Yet, you're a saint. For there is no greater discomfort to your adversaries than witnessing your flourishing existence, one they believed could be shattered by their actions. The Stoics held a firm conviction against squandering time in the pursuit of proving others incorrect. They held a conviction that one must demonstrate their truth through deeds, by means of discipline, amidst the journey of change. Cease the endless debate over the qualities of a virtuous man. Become one. Marcus Hewlett deceives. Your mission awaits. Transform into all that they envisioned. It was impossible for you to be. Allow your unwavering commitment to resonate more profoundly than the whispers of others. Allow your self-respect to quiet their arrogance. Allow your tranquility to disrupt their turmoil. There's no necessity to share it publicly. There's no need to confront them directly. One must strive to attain an undeniable presence. For in achieving success not only in material wealth but also in mental, emotional, and spiritual realms, you unveil the profound truth they endeavored to conceal. They never truly held any genuine power over you. Your emotions were under their control, but only as long as you handed over the keys. Now, those keys have vanished. At this moment, you take the helm of the story. The atmosphere is yours to create. You set the benchmark. Your expectations have soared beyond their grasp. What many fail to grasp is this: success transcends mere wealth or titles. It revolves around harmony. It's a matter of rising with a sense of purpose, retiring for the night enveloped in tranquility, and dedicating each moment to crafting a life that resonates with inner freedom. It revolves around the liberation of ceasing to justify your existence, ceasing the plea for comprehension, ceasing the anticipation for others to acknowledge your worth. One is aware of their own identity. You possess a clear vision of what you are creating, and you understand why their turmoil has no place in your narrative. That embodies a high-performance mindset. That embodies a profound commitment to the spirit. Your success is what imbues a sense of the sacred, for it transcends mere success. It is a journey of redemption, free from the shackles of revenge. It is justice free from resentment. It embodies strength devoid of triviality. Here lies the truth. Those who once questioned your abilities will surely take notice. Even if they feign indifference, word will spread. Your silence will reveal it to them. Within your radiance, during your absence, as they remain spectators, you are fully immersed in the art of living, flourishing, guiding, achieving an invincible state. What they did to you will linger in their memories. Yet, with greater anguish, they will recall the person you transformed into regardless of it all. And that, indeed, is the sort of karma from which no one can find refuge. Not everyone is destined to accompany you on your journey. Embracing this truth will undoubtedly lighten your journey ahead. It is not a matter of personal feelings. It pulsates with vitality. It possesses a profound essence. It is essential. Some individuals were merely chapters, not the entirety of the narrative. Some were teachings, not salvations. Some individuals enter your life to ignite a spark within you, not to remain indefinitely. Yet, the challenge lies in our resistance. We persevere. We often conflate the past with our fate. We confuse attachment with alignment. And we bear the cost in tranquility, with intention, in the flow of energy. The Stoics imparted the wisdom that true freedom lies not in accumulation, but in the art of letting go. To attain genuine strength, one must embrace the art of releasing that which no longer nurtures one's journey of growth. To enhance your abilities, embrace the perception of being foolish and ignorant. Cry cantor. Allow that to resonate. At times, choosing to distance yourself from familiar faces, those who are toxic, limiting, and draining, may cast you in a harsh light. Conceited, unfeeling. Allow them to believe that they are not meant to grasp the essence of your evolution. They were the burden anchoring you to the ground. Your ascent necessitated their departure, the version of yourself that endured their theatrics. Their lack of consistency, their lack of emotional maturity, that iteration had to meet its end, and with it, the connections that acknowledged solely that iteration. They were not taken from your life due to a lack of concern. They were taken away because you ultimately took action. You ceased to offer apologies for your boundaries. You ceased to defend your tranquility. You ceased your anticipation for their transformation. Elucidate. I have evolved. In that act, transformation unfolded within you. You have transformed. You have ascended. That is not an act of betrayal. That is alignment. Some individuals resonate solely with the parts of you that are scarred and healing. As you embark on the journey of healing, constructing anew, and ascending, the bond unravels. Not out of cruelty, but because the wounds no longer bleed in the same places. Let us speak with unvarnished truth. If they truly valued you, they would never have driven you to this juncture. If they genuinely held a place in your future, they would not have felt so at ease in disrespecting you in the present moment. Here lies the crucial role of emotional intelligence, understanding the right moment to cease the pursuit of perfection, when to cease the act of hoping. When is it time to cease diminishing oneself merely to maintain someone's proximity? For the reality is, not all harbor a fear of your absence. There are those who fear the loss of the version of you that they could manipulate. However, when you begin to honor your energy, safeguard your peace, and uphold your standards, you transform into someone unrecognizable to those who were familiar with the unhealed version of yourself. It is at that moment that the separation occurs. That separation, though it stings, ultimately serves to protect you. It resembles an end, yet it marks the dawn of existence. One cannot ascend while burdened by anchors. One cannot truly grow while remaining ensnared in the tumult of emotional chaos. One cannot stride with intention while tending to chaos. Indeed, the parting was filled with anguish, yet the ascent makes it all worthwhile. At this moment, you find yourself centered, serene, and firmly rooted. Devote fewer moments to explanation, and instead immerse yourself in execution. Minimize the hours spent doubting, and focus on the art of building. Shift your gaze away from the past, and channel your energy into the journey of becoming untouchable. As you ascend, an extraordinary event unfolds. You start to encounter individuals who resonate with your spirit rather than your past struggles. Individuals who uplift you, replenishing your spirit instead of depleting it. Those who do not doubt your value, but reflect it back to you. Yet, they come but a single time. The incorrect ones have been eliminated. Do not grieve for those who were unable to embrace your evolution. Rejoice in the realization that you have transcended the confines of those environments that sought to diminish your potential. For the simple reason that the reality is this: elevation transcends the mere act of surpassing others. It's a journey into the essence of your true self, uncovering the person you were destined to become. One cannot achieve that while remaining faithful to personal constraints or to those who embody them. Release them. Allow the memories to slip away. Allow the silence to convey its message. You are not leaving anyone behind. You are merely responding to the summons of your elevated self. This encapsulates the essence of what the Stoics defined as true freedom. It is not a severance from love itself, but rather a release from the confines of illusion. Not solitude, but understanding. Not resentment, but limits. And now, you ascend beyond their reach. Not due to malevolence, but rather because their existence had lost its purpose. You have journeyed to this point. You have weathered the storms that sought to shatter your spirit. You have distanced yourself from the clamor, the treachery, the deceit. You have transcended those who once led you to doubt your value. Yet, there remains one final snare. It is, indeed, the most perilous form of bitterness. For even in their absence, even as the ache diminishes, even amidst your flourishing, that quiet bitterness can still taint all that you endeavor to create. Your smile conceals a lingering anger beneath the surface. You triumph. Yet, beneath the surface, there lingers a desire for them to witness it and feel remorse. You advance, yet a fragment of your being lingers in the past, questioning whether justice has finally made its entrance. Unbeknownst to you, the lens of your past is shaping the contours of your future. That does not constitute healing. That's transporting emotional burdens in a more refined vessel. Stoicism extends beyond mere detachment from others. It imparts a sense of release from bitterness. True freedom is found only in the mastery of one's own self. The essence of Cryocantor's freedom transcends mere physicality. It delves into the mind. True freedom eludes you if your serenity hinges on the suffering of others. True healing is not found in the approval of others. If your joy still seeks their validation, you have yet to embrace complete wholeness. True strength does not require daily reminders of past wrongs. Bitterness has a captivating allure. It resonates with power. It evokes a sense of clarity, vigilance, and invincibility. Yet, it ensnares you, binding your emotions to those you have long since surpassed. Your success becomes intertwined with their narrative. Your discipline morphs into a quest for retribution, and your peace hinges on the scales of comparison. And gradually, it taints your gifts. You cease to place your faith in the goodness of things. You undermine the healthy connections in your life, perpetually on the lookout for treachery. Your defenses stand too tall for love to find its way to you. You confuse control with clarity. Yet, bitterness offers no shield. It safeguards the injury. You emerged unscathed from the collision. Yet, resentment forces you to revisit that fateful moment each day. That does not constitute power. That is confinement. What steps can one take to liberate oneself? Begin with grasping this concept. You do not extend forgiveness for their benefit. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself, a means of liberation. To forgive does not necessarily imply a return to harmony. That does not imply their correctness. It does not imply that you permit them to re-enter your life. I have released myself from the burden of your choices. I embrace tranquility rather than toxicity. Your blessings, your clarity, your success, and your growth hold a sacred significance. Refrain from tainting them with outdated tales. Your journey has been significant. Don't allow your history to dictate what lies ahead. You've crafted too much to allow the shadows of the past to disturb your tranquility. Be assured, if you fail to dispel the bitterness, consequences will follow. Life will challenge you. It will usher in fresh opportunities, introduce new faces, and unveil novel experiences. Yet, should your hands remain tightly gripped by resentment, you will overlook every opportunity that beckons. Your prayers may be in jeopardy of being undone, not due to any lack of worthiness. Yet, your inability to accept without doubt lingers on. Release it, not on account of their worthiness for tranquility. Yet, it is precisely for that reason that you do. Your vitality is far too precious to squander on those who have exited your life. Your heart deserves to soar, unburdened by the weight of sorrow. Your future holds too much significance to be constructed upon the foundations of vengeance. Bitterness steals away the light. It robs you of the now, ensnaring your thoughts in a past that remains unalterable. Rather than waiting for them to experience it, embrace it for yourself. Experience the liberation that comes when you embrace self-mastery instead of harboring resentment. Allow your shoulders to relax as you release the burdens that are not yours to bear. Experience the profound clarity that arises when your energy is devoted to your vision rather than tethered to your memories. At a certain juncture, the question shifts from wondering when they will feel remorse to contemplating what new creations can emerge now that liberation is yours. That is the inquiry of a Stoic mind that reflects the mentality of an individual beyond reach. Release the grip of resentment. Preserve the knowledge. Safeguard your tranquility. Open your hands wide, for what lies ahead demands room, not remnants of the past. The harshest reality. In the quiet moments, they'll come to realize the weight of your absence. They will keep it to themselves. They will never reach out to confess it. They remain silent, unwilling to share their truths with friends or broadcast them to the world. Have faith in this. They lament the absence of your presence. The burden of that regret accumulates silently, gradually, akin to a shadow that lingers endlessly. Initially, they remained oblivious. You were merely another individual they believed they could substitute. They held a conviction that an upgrade was within their reach. Advance forward. Let it slip away. Those who are driven by ego often perceive value as something easily cast aside, until it has vanished, until the silence lingers for an eternity, until the warmth of your support, the depth of your compassion, and the strength of your loyalty fade from their existence, until they glance about and come to understand that no one else reflects their essence quite like you did. No one else exhibited such unwavering patience with their scars. Only one person embraced their turmoil with unwavering serenity. No one else cherished them, despite the scars they bore, not because they had deserved it. And when they finally come to understand, you have already slipped away in every aspect: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Your presence is transformed into a mere echo of memory. Your warmth lingers like a specter. Your brilliance now illuminates realms beyond their reach. And that, indeed, is the most excruciating form of retribution. To part with a soul who might have remained for eternity had they only recognized your worth. The Stoics held no faith in the notion of revenge. They held a conviction in the power of self-restraint, allowing individuals to navigate the consequences of their own actions. How much time is saved by one who refrains from observing the words, actions, or thoughts of others, focusing solely on his own deeds? Marcus Hewlett deceives. There's no need to instill regret in them. Life has already taken care of that for you. Each time they encounter a figure that evokes memories of you. Whenever they seek solace, they turn to someone who remains oblivious to their struggles. In moments of solitude amidst a crowd, your presence lingers in their thoughts. Yet, they remain silent. For regret serves as a silent tormentor. It consumes from within. As they bear that unspoken burden, you find yourself so far ahead that their struggles go unnoticed. You are not anticipating their return. You're not seeking resolution. You're not allowing room for possibilities. You have transformed. You have evolved. You have found your healing. The healed version of you scarcely acknowledges the person you once pursued. Perhaps one day, they will attempt to bridge the gap, whether through a simple like, a thoughtful message, or a shared memory. Yet, it will be too late. By the moment they come to understand what they have lost, you will have transformed into the person they were never worthy of witnessing. This is not a display of arrogance. This embodies self-worth. This embodies a journey of spiritual dedication. This embodies emotional intelligence, the decision to refrain from suffering anew for someone who has celebrated your anguish. Their retribution lies not in the hands of fate, but in the very fabric of existence itself. It observes how life unfolds in their absence. They yearn to embody the tempest, yet you transformed into the mountain. They long to witness your descent. Now they must bear witness to your ascent, and not merely ascend, but ascend in a manner that requires no audience. Your joy will not be measured by achievement. Your triumph will not be merely for display. It shall be serene, tranquil, and steadfast. And that is what will linger in their minds the longest. For there is no sound more profound than the quietude of a soul that has found its way to healing. Let them feel the weight of their choices. Allow them to ponder. Allow them to glide through the stillness. Silence is sufficient. Your departure speaks volumes, a silent testament to all that remains unspoken. They caused you pain. They deceived. They departed. They behaved as if your presence was insignificant. Yet, here you remain, drawing breath, continuing to ascend, continuing to evolve. At last, the truth has revealed itself to you. The Stoics have long understood that revenge is but a fleeting sentiment, yet achieving a state of eternal untouchability. There's no need to witness the inevitable return of consequences upon them. You have transcended the part of yourself that craved vengeance. Their most profound punishment lies not in your silence. This is your metamorphosis. They never anticipated your survival. They never imagined you would transform. Now, they must grapple with the reality that the individual they sought to shatter has slipped beyond their grasp. Therefore, refrain from glancing back. Do not linger in anticipation of their remorse. Do not linger for justice to arrive. You have already transformed into it. Allow their whispers to linger in the air. Allow them to ponder. Allow life to take care of the remainder. You continue to ascend. You continue to mend. With each step, you move forward with intention, embodying a serene assurance and unwavering focus. For there is no greater testament than a life reconstructed in quietude and embraced wholeheartedly. If this message struck a chord with you, consider subscribing to Think Stoic 101 for greater clarity, enhanced strength, and additional tools to navigate your inner landscape, no matter what challenges life presents. If you're prepared to delve further, be sure to explore our upcoming video, The Best Revenge is Success, when without saying a word. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What moment led you to cease the pursuit of closure and begin the journey towards cultivating peace? Your narrative could be precisely what another soul seeks to encounter today.